Good evening. Hope everybody is doing well. Goodness. Wow. So, I guess I might as well start out with what there is probably the least of, and that is convoy updates. Today was an off day, so everything's still going. I know Saznak headed out. He needed to go make some money, and so I know Saznak headed out. But I think if it works out that he gets a chance to link back up with him, he will. So pardon me. Other than that, like I say, it was an off day. So trying to think. News is just insane if you've been keeping up with it. There is and I don't believe this is going to be in any of the headlines. But there's talk that chemical munitions have been deployed in Ukraine. I have no idea. I know I have been suspecting something along this line of happening, but I'll leave it at that. I don't want to make Karen too pissed off at YouTube, but same old song and dance is what I'm gonna say. Same old song and dance. So we'll see. Again, I haven't seen this, I'm not saying that it's not a claim that's being made or anything like that. I'm just saying I don't think it's in any of the headlines that I have run across yet. Okay? Doesn't mean it didn't happen. Or I will say it doesn't mean that there weren't claims that it happened or whatever. However, it just means that it hasn't worked its way through the channels yet, if you will. I largely go by RT. I do also get Sputnik on my phone. They pop up with their updates. I don't know. Here, let me take a quick peek here at Sputnik, and I'll just look real quick at their homepage and see if there's anything of that nature in the headlines. So far, and this is Sputnik. Now, they will have news on here that is... Well, here, let me... Hang on. Come on, get in there. Alright. This is Sputnik. So, sometimes they will have news and stuff on here that... I would say reaches a little bit further than what news on RT will. Some stuff I think, I don't know. Most of the stuff, though, on Sputnik, to be honest, most of the stuff you can pretty well count on being accurate. I will say that. But I am looking through here, and unless I missed something, I am not seeing anything anywhere on their home page, on their front page, and I'm sure it would be on there. So it is what it is. I'm not going to jump behind it and say, yep, it's a thing, and at the same time, I'm not going to say it's not a thing, because, it could very well. Anywho, other than that, Can't think of anything else. I do have, let's see, about 7 tabs open. All of them related to either Russia. Well, all but there's one that's not related to either Russia or China. But there's, I guess, 3 on Russia, 3 on China. So that's fair, right? I figured I would just kind of run through and kind of make a quick and easy night of it. I got to change flavors tonight. I'm vaping on the very last of my strawberry milk that I had in here. So, huh? No, not barf. It's good. Yum. Yum. All right. So, I guess I can take you back on over to the web view. And we can talk about this schmuck. Biden bans ghost guns. U.S. President Joe Biden has announced a ban on the manufacture and sale of ghost guns, homemade firearms whose lack of serial numbers make them difficult to track when used in the commission of a crime. As if you really get very far with that. But anyway, the president officially announced the new rule on Monday, rendering it illegal for a business to manufacture a firearm without a serial number. Okay, Chief. Specifically, the rule classifies so-called buy, build, shoot kits, do-it-yourself packages that can be purchased without a background check and constructed at home as firearms under the Gun Control Act, meaning makers and sellers of such kits require licenses and must perform background checks before making a sale. Another new rule requires sellers to keep records of purchasers for as long as they are in business. The restrictions are part of the Justice Department's National Ghost Gun Enforcement Initiative, launched in February to prosecute those who use ghost guns in the commission of crimes. By the way, that's not a whole lot of crimes. The project also aims to update the language used in gun control legislation with an eye towards shutting down the unrestricted sale of 3D printed weapons, the plans for which are often shared online. The president stressed he wasn't done tightening gun control restrictions, insisting he wanted to ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, require background checks for all gun sales, and strip gun manufacturers of protection from legal liability. He has also called for more funds for law enforcement. You know what my parents used to always tell me? I can do something in one hand and wish in the other. Biden also announced his appointment to lead the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms on Monday, which really shouldn't be an agency. That should be like a convenience store. But anyway, it confirmed by the Senate Steve Dettelbach will become the first permanent director of the agency since 2015. He previously worked as U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Ohio. So, says here, the ATF has had little luck in tracing ghost guns under existing legislation, according to a senior administration official who revealed during a press briefing on Sunday that the agency had been able to trace fewer than 1% of the 45,000 such weapons recovered during investigations since December 2016. Just 700 of those weapons were used in homicides or attempted homicide. And am I supposed to believe that all of those weapons were ghost guns? I'm not buying it. I am not buying it. Because these ghost guns, they start out as what a lot of people call an 80% lower. And what it is the receiver, which is the part of the weapon that has to have a serial number, and, if you were to buy it from, the gun store. the receiver that you get is like 80% finished. You've got to finish up the last 20%, which consists of drilling holes and all of that. But I mean, you got to be precise with it. You can't just be, goofing around with a drill. But anyway, you finish out the receiver, and then you can just get the other parts. You don't have to have anything to get the other parts, and you just put it together. Okay, now that in and of itself isn't a kit. A kit would be getting these components together. I think actually what they also consider a kit is where you get the receiver, the 80% receiver, and also or lower, and also like the jig that is used to finish the machining and stuff. When you get all of that in one package, I think they call that a kit. But anyway, there's not a lot of people that does this, right? You don't have everybody and their brother buying 80% receiver or lowers or whatever and finishing out themselves. Why? Well, because most people are too lazy. Why would they want to go through the work? Just get what they want and roll with it, right? That quote unquote ghost gun isn't as cool on the range as the, this brand or that brand, right? So, pardon me. Okay, so anyway, I figured I would cover that. That's going on. It's going to be a non-stop attack on people's rights, and I'll be glad when people finally stand up to these politicians and say, shall not be infringed is pretty damn clear. Screw off. And, we really need to put an end to things like the ATF. Absolutely. Because they should have no control. None. Not over firearms. Nope. Shall not be infringed. It was said very, very clearly. So anyway, let me have a sip of coffee. All right. Next up. EU supplied S-300 launchers obliterated, says Russia. Russian forces have destroyed foreign supplied S-300 anti-aircraft launchers in a number of precision strikes on Ukraine, the defense ministry in Moscow claimed on Monday. Days earlier, Slovakia reported the donation of a battery of old Soviet-made S-300 air defense missiles to Kiev. In its regular briefing on the ongoing military action in Ukraine, the Russian Defense Ministry reported hitting a hangar on the southern outskirts of the city of, however you pronounce that, where equipment from an S-300 battery supplied to the Ukrainian regime by one of the European nations was hidden. Must not have been hidden that well. The barrage of sea-launched caliber missiles destroyed 4 S-300 launchers and as many as 25 Ukrainian troops in the Sunday strike, ministry spokesman Major General Igor Konishnikov claimed. He used the old name of the city, which Ukrainian authorities renamed Dnipro in 2016, to distance it from the Soviet period of the country's history. Says the Russian official also reported destroying an S-300 targeting radar in a separate overnight precision airstrike near Uspenvaka or something like that. The general didn't specify which of the multiple villages of that name in Ukraine he was referring to and didn't say where the radar was part of the battery supplied by the foreign nation. And I actually said something to Jen about that the other day. I mentioned that. I'm like, because they were talking about, given the S-300 system, and I'm like, That's not one truck. One truck doesn't do it all. You've got to have radar trucks and stuff like that. So I was curious about the radar truck, but anyway, I think they found it. That's the radar truck I was talking about. But anyway, apparently both the radar truck and the launchers have been destroyed. Imagine that. Oh, fun. More news? No way. Come on. Pop up. Oh, okay. I stated earlier that I hadn't seen anything official yet on chemical attack claims. Now that has changed. So there's that. Let me get this thrown in the list with Russia stuff, and then I'll go over it as well. Okay, Russia seeks to end U.S.-dominated world order, says Lavrov. Says Russia's military action in Ukraine is meant to put an end to the U.S.-dominated world order, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has explained. Washington has been seeking supremacy by imposing ad hoc rules and violating international law, he claimed, in an interview aired by Russian television on Monday. He was referring to America's attempts to impose its so-called rules-based international order, which have met with strong resistance from Moscow and China. Our special military operation is meant to put an end to the unabashed expansion of NATO and the unabashed drive towards full domination by the U.S. and its Western subjects on the world stage, Lavrov told Russia 24 News Channel. This domination is built on gross violation of international law and under some rules, which they are now hyping so much and which they make up on a case-by-case basis, he added. Russia is among the nations who would not submit to Washington's will, the Russian diplomat added. It will only be part of the international community of equals and will not allow Western nations to ignore its legitimate security concerns, Lavrov said. So, you've got those talks going on, and at the same time, you've got NATO war games going on. Says here, British, French, and Danish troops who have recently arrived to serve in NATO battle group Estonia began joint drills with Estonian forces this weekend. The ongoing Bold Dragon war games, involving foreign soldiers and members of Estonia's 1st Infantry Brigade, are being held at the country's military central training area. Their aim is to provide the newly arrived Western European servicemen with their first opportunity to get acquainted with the Estonian terrain and improve cooperation with their local counterparts. On Saturday and Sunday, the participants of the drill practiced both assault and defensive maneuvers. According to a statement by the 1st Infantry Brigade, some 2,000 Estonian troops are taking part in the war games, which will culminate in a battalion-level tactical exercise on Wednesday and Thursday, it added. So, got apparently Belgian F-16s, British Eurofighter jets, Wildcat helicopters, and Estonian aircraft. So, the Cessna and the old Cub. Sorry, couldn't resist. And then this is what just came out just a moment ago. Let me have a drink real quick. Anyway. Alright, says U.S., UK investigating Ukraine chemical attack claims. Says here, Ukraine's neo-Nazi Azov battalion has accused the Russian forces of deploying a chemical weapon against its fighters during the siege on, and I heard somebody else say it earlier, Mariupol? I think it's Mariupol. Potentially creating a pretext for the U.S. and its Western allies to step up efforts to punish Moscow over the conflict. An unidentified chemical agent was dropped from a drone on Monday, leaving several Ukrainian fighters in the area struggling to breathe, according to an unverified accusations posted on Telegram by the ultra-nationalist Azov battalion. Okay. The unidentified chemical agent, and this is according to the unverified accusations on Telegram, right? A poisonous substance of unknown origin was used, the militants claimed, allegedly leaving 3 fighters suffering mild respiratory issues, dizziness, and headaches. However, an aide to Mariupol Mayor Petro Adrudinch, I can't say that, noted that the allegations of a chemical attack hadn't been confirmed, according to Reuters. Separately, the Ukrainian parliament accused Russian forces of firing on nitric acid tanks in the Donetsk region. This was reported by the patrol police, according to a post on the parliament's Twitter account on Monday night. Locals are urged to prepare protective face masks soaked in soda solution. Western officials quickly pounced on the allegations, warning of severe consequences for Moscow. We are working urgently with partners to verify the details, UK Foreign Secretary Liz Truss said. Any use of such weapons would be a callous escalation of this conflict, and we will hold Putin and his regime to account. Now, do I believe that Putin would use chemical weapons? No. Not now. Not in Ukraine. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He is in no position to where he needs to pull that card. He's not even remotely in a position where he needs to pull that card. That would be stupid. Absolutely stupid. No, I don't know if anything happened at all. I don't know. I have serious doubts. Serious doubts. But, it is what it is. I expected this, I suspected this, and I even warned about it. I've said on numerous occasions that it's only a matter of time before it's claimed that there's a chemical attack. Right? Because I am personally aware of them doing this numerous times since the 90s. So, not surprising they're still doing it. So anyway, Russia's not the only one we're pissing off, Let's see what's shaking with China. China slams U.S. over Russia sanctions. China has criticized the harsh sanctions imposed by Washington on Moscow over the conflict in Ukraine, saying the restrictions were the wrong tool to defuse the ongoing crisis. Escalating sanctions isn't helping to alleviate the situation, but is only creating new problems for the world in the midst of an epidemic, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Zhao Lijian told Daily Media briefing on Monday. Washington should promote peace with practical steps instead of trying to use sanctions to preserve its hegemonic position and make illegal gains, he added. Zhao reiterated Beijing's position that the conflict between Kiev and Moscow should be settled through dialogue. We encourage both sides to maintain the momentum to the negotiations and the strive for results in peace, he said, adding that China is willing to play a constructive role in the process. So, that, and then on the other hand, they're apparently shipping weapons to Serbia, and I'm sure you've probably heard about it. I know I've heard about this a few different times. Here it says, Chinese official confirmed on Monday that Beijing had made a delivery of military equipment to Serbia under a long-standing partnership with the Balkan nation, but the transfers reportedly rattled nerves in the West, and media outlets warned of an arms buildup by a Russian ally amid the Ukraine crisis. 6 Chinese Air Force Y-20 transport planes landed in Belgrade on Saturday to deliver their cargoes. The delivery was routine under a cooperation plan between the country's Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Zhao Lijian told reporters on Monday. It has nothing to do with the current situation and doesn't target any other nation, he added. The Associated Press and other media outlets speculated that planes were carrying HQ-22 surface-to-air missiles that Serbia had ordered from China. Serbian President Alexander Vučić hinted at the big announcement this week, saying that he would introduce the newest pride of his country's military. U.S. and U.K. media outlets called the delivery secret, veiled, or semi-secret, and said it had raised fears of military buildup at a time of war between Russia and Ukraine. AP suggested that the shipment could threaten the fragile peace in the Balkans. And I think they're all fear-mongering. You know, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that the United States thinks that they have full right to go anywhere in the world and put anything they want. But any other country has to seek U.S. approval to move. You know, it's absolutely insane. I don't know. I'm looking at it just from the outside looking in, and that's what I see. I see a largely U.S. dominated globe for decades, and I think that domination is coming to an end. You know, and the sad part of it is our government has done some really, really crappy things around the world. And there are a whole lot of people that would love payback. And we're talking in nations all over. We're talking about nations in South America. We're talking about nations in Africa. Of course, the Middle East, that's a given. Yeah, there's a lot of nations that would like to get a little bit even with us. Anyway. Got one more here. Pentagon warns India of China threat. It says here, U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin hosted his Indian counterpart, Rajnath Singh, on Monday, calling for closer military ties between the countries and warning of security threats posed by China and Russia. We're meeting at a critical moment in the U.S.-India defense partnership, Austin told Singh as Monday's talks began. He added that Washington and New Delhi both believe in a free and open Indo-Pacific underpinned by respect for national sovereignty and the rule of law, but we're facing urgent and mounting challenges to this shared vision. Beijing is undermining security in the region by building dual-use infrastructure along its border with India and making unlawful territorial claims in the South China Sea, Austin said. The United States stands with India in defending their sovereign interests, he pledged. Austin argued that, like China, Russia is trying to change the status quo by force, adding, Russia's invasion of Ukraine and humanitarian devastation that it has created are blatant attempts to undermine the international order that is grounded in the rules and the principles that we share. The U.S. Defense Chief said that as the world's largest democracy, India is central to this rules-based order, and he called for collaboration with like-minded partners. Those ties may include co-development of weapons. So it said Austin and Singh followed their talks by holding a so-called 2+2 meeting with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Indian Minister of External Affairs. I can't say that name. It says this is a momentous moment in global affairs, and I think as a result, this partnership is even more consequential and more vital, Blinken said. And at the same time, as far as I know, India's been working with China and Russia. So, there's that. This, I guess, breaking news from Sputnik on my phone says U.S. State Department orders non-essential personnel to leave Shanghai amid COVID-19 surge. Interesting. Not quite so sure it's COVID-19 they're really concerned about. Okay. Let me have a couple sips of coffee and we'll do some headlines and go from there. Oh, man. Fair amount of stuff went on today. All right. Starting off with Berlin sets timeline for energy independence. French bank quits Russia over Ukraine. Timeline for new NATO expansion revealed, says the media. Bavaria outlines consequences of Russian gas ban. Covered that. Top neo-Nazi commander killed in Ukraine, says Russia. U.S. and U.K. conducting a secret war in Ukraine, says Le Figaro. And I'm sure I said that name wrong. Russia halts plan to nationalize foreign firms, says reports. Ruble retreats as central bank eases capital controls. Ukraine looks to Asia for weapons. Moscow threatens legal action if West pushes it into artificial default. Covered that one. West tries to derail Russian railways. European spat on own values, says Russian ex-president. EU morphed into a military organization, says Lavrov. Britain's faced biggest crisis in decades, and I would say that's going to be Americans too. Twitter plunges over Musk's surprise. That would be that he's not going to take a seat on the board. Russian diplomatic compound seized in Poland. By the way, from my understanding, if he were to take that seat on the board, that would have actually limited him and what he would be allowed to do. For one thing, everything he did, he would have to be doing in the interest of the shareholders. What if he doesn't want to do that for whatever reason? I'm not 100% sure what Elon Musk is up to. I don't know if he's up to a hostile takeover. I don't know if he's just having fun. I have no idea what it is he's up to, but I will say it's interesting to watch. Kremlin responds to Clinton's NATO statement. A most isolated country celebrates its leader. Ukraine talks between Putin and EU leader conclude outside Moscow. EU fails to agree on Russian energy ban. Opposition favorite chosen to lead Pakistan. German manufacturer ready to send decommissioned tanks to Ukraine. Hungary says it's ready to pay for Russian gas in rubles. Putin outlines priorities to restart economy. Anti-migrant attacks in South Africa likened to apartheid actions. UK sanctions target Bosnian Serb leaders. Ukraine presses another country for weapons. Canada denies training Ukrainian neo-Nazis. U.S. exempts telecom service from Russian sanctions. China... covered that one. Questions arise about death of pro-Russian ex-MP in Bucha. No alternative to Russian oil, OPEC tells EU. Russia launches probe over Ukrainian ISIS-style social aid. Putin intends to resolve Donbass conflict, says Austria. And that's it. I covered the rest. Well, that was quick and easy. Works for me. Oh. Now I can start the fun task of changing flavors. And then probably another typical early night to bed. Because I'm just so exciting. You know. All the hookers and blow. It just, you know. Where's me out? What? I guess it doesn't wear her out. She wants to stay up longer. Spend more time with the hookers and blow. So if you see something kind of flying over and smacking me in the side of the head, know that it wasn't a mirage or nothing. It's probably a crutch. Anyway, I am going to get out of here. No need to let you guys watch me die. And, God willing, I will see you all tomorrow night. I hope you have a good night. Hope you have a good day tomorrow. And as always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.